Tonight, breaking news, Donald Trump's criminal trial, his one-time lawyer and fixer Michael Cohen on the stand, and what he revealed, the defense going at him. Also tonight, the horrific bus crash, the bus flipping, at least 8 people killed. And the images coming in now, a brazen prison escape. First tonight, Donald Trump's former fixer Michael Cohen testifying about a visit to the Oval Office. Cohen testifying the former president signed off on a plan to reimburse Cohen for the hush money payments to Stormy Daniels. And tonight here, the defense taking aim at Michael Cohen, what they pressed him on. The images coming in tonight, at least 8 people dead, many others critically wounded in that bus crash in Florida. Authorities say the bus sideswiped by a pickup crossing the center line, careening off the highway. Just in tonight, the new preliminary report on that deadly bridge collapse in Baltimore. What it now reveals about 2 blackouts on that cargo ship hours before it left that port. Several hours later, it was crashing into that bridge. There is a severe storm threat right now as we come on. A confirmed EF2 touching down, and now severe thunderstorms we're watching across several states, pushing right into the Northeast. Ginger Z has the new forecast. President Biden taking aim at China. The details tonight, $18 billion in new tariffs on Chinese imports. Among them, quadrupling tariffs on electric vehicles from Chinese automakers. Biden saying he wants the electric vehicles of the world made in America. Tonight, Israel launching intense attacks across Gaza. And this evening, growing concern for about 20 U.S. aid workers. They say they have no safe way out. You'll hear from them right here tonight. The chilling video coming in now, the deadly police ambush in France. Heavily armed gunmen attacking a prison van at a toll booth. At least 2 prison officers killed, what we know so far. Back in the U.S., a major turn in the case of that 15-year-old killed, hit while in the water. Tonight, the news on Red Lobster suddenly closing dozens of restaurants across the U.S. What they're now blaming, was it too much of a good thing? Caitlin Clark making her regular season debut tonight before a sold-out crowd. Also, the cougar scare chasing the family pets and then the family. You'll see it. And America Strong tonight, the season of graduations. But we've never seen one quite like this.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight with David Muir.
Good evening, and it's great to have you with us here on a very busy Tuesday night. That horrific and deadly bus crash careening off the highway after being sideswiped. We'll go to the scene in just a moment. But we begin tonight with Donald Trump's criminal trial, his longtime fixer and lawyer Michael Cohen on the stand, what he revealed, and the defense then going at him, the intense cross-examination. Donald Trump arriving at court today, listening to Michael Cohen in that courtroom as his one-time friend and fixer detailed a meeting in the Oval Office, testifying that Trump signed off on the plan to reimburse Cohen for the hush money payments to Stormy Daniels. And Cohen testifying that in 2018, when Cohen himself was the target of an FBI raid, Trump, who was president then, told Cohen, "Don't worry, I'm the president of the United States. Stay tough, you're going to be okay." It was the last time they spoke. Here's our senior investigative correspondent, Aaron Katersky, leading us off at the courthouse tonight.
On the witness stand today, in vivid detail, Donald Trump's former fixer Michael Cohen described the unraveling of their relationship after the hush money deal with Stormy Daniels and Trump's rise to the White House. Cohen was clear. Trump told him to pay off the porn star so it would not affect Mr. Trump's chances in the 2016 election. Cohen said Trump discussed plans to reimburse him during a meeting in the Oval Office. Jurors seeing this photograph and these checks that allegedly covered part of the reimbursement. Trump is charged with illegally falsifying business documents to make it all look like legal expenses. Cohen admitted even after the election, he kept lying again and again to protect Mr. Trump, stay on message, demonstrate my continued loyalty. But in April 2018, the lies caught up with him when the FBI raided his hotel room and office. Cohen said he was frightened, but Trump reassured him, "Don't worry, I'm president of the United States. There's nothing here. Everything's going to be okay. Stay tough. You're going to be okay." Cohen said that was the last time he ever spoke with Donald Trump. He ended up pleading guilty to federal campaign finance charges related to the hush money deals with Daniels and former Playboy model Karen McDougal. He served 13 and a half months in prison. On cross-examination, defense attorney Todd Blanche cast Cohen as a man now hell-bent on revenge. "You're actually obsessed with President Trump," Blanche said. "I can't recall using that word, but I can't say it would be wrong," Cohen replied. Cohen acknowledged saying he would take a bullet for his old boss, but he described himself as knee-deep in the cult of Donald Trump. Blanche then painted a picture of obsession gone wrong, grilling Cohen about the barrage of insults he's lobbed at Trump on his podcast 6 days a week, his book called Revenge, and the T-shirts he sold, Trump Behind Bars. And asking him, bottom line, you want President Trump to be convicted in this case? Yes, Cohen said, I would like to see that.
I think it was a very, very good day.
Trump had little to say about Cohen's testimony. He's under a gag order, barred from attacking witnesses. In more than 2 hours of cross-examination today, David, the defense assailed Michael Cohen's character. They questioned his motives, but asked nothing about Stormy Daniels or hush money or any of the business records at the heart of the case. And remember, Cohen's the only witness to have testified he spoke directly to Trump about those things. He'll be back here on the witness stand on Thursday, David.
Aaron Katersky leading us off again tonight. Thank you, Aaron. We're going to turn now to the horrific images coming in this evening. A deadly bus crash in Florida, at least 8 killed. Many others critically injured. Authorities say the bus was sideswiped by a pickup truck crossing the center line, the bus then careening right off the highway. Late today, the driver of that pickup was arrested and charged. Victor Oquendo is on the scene in Marion County, Florida tonight.
Tonight, the driver of this pickup truck arrested and charged with manslaughter after this mass casualty bus crash on a Central Florida highway that killed at least 8 people.
At this point, we are conducting a massive traffic homicide investigation. We have a full team and then some here on the scene.
This morning, a retired school bus carrying 53 migrant farm workers traveling on State Road 40 in Marion County, a 2001 Ford pickup coming from the opposite direction on the 2-lane highway, then moving towards the center lane, sideswiping the bus.
Post-collision, the school bus traveled off the roadway onto the grass shoulder, where it went through a fence, struck a tree, and overturned.
The bus rolling over, landing on its side, killing 8. First responders pulling out survivors. More than 30 transported to local hospitals, 8 of them in critical condition. The driver of the pickup, identified as 41-year-old Brian McLean Howard, also seriously injured. Tonight, charged with 8 counts of driving under the influence, manslaughter. Cannon Farms, where those workers were headed, closing today out of respect to the losses and injuries.
David, that is the pickup truck that was involved. It's been loaded up, about to be towed away. Tonight, we're learning that some of the victims were Mexican nationals. The Mexican consulate in Orlando now working on connecting those affected with family. David?
Victor Oquendo in Florida, thank you. We turn to the breaking news involving the investigation into that deadly bridge collapse in Baltimore. Late today, the NTSB issuing its preliminary report on the cargo ship that slammed into that bridge. You'll remember videos showing the ship appearing to lose power twice, just moments before it brought down the bridge. Well, tonight, the report now revealing that that ship, hours before it even left port, had 2 other major power outages, 2 blackouts. Hours later, crashing into the bridge. Terry Moran on this again tonight.
A new report tonight finding that the massive cargo ship that knocked down the Key Bridge in Baltimore suffered 2 blackouts while undergoing maintenance about 10 hours before that deadly collapse. That preliminary report from the National Transportation Safety Board concludes that a mistake by a crew member on the Dolly cargo ship caused the first blackout while the ship was docked in port, followed by a second power outage shortly after. The crew then switched the configuration of the electrical system. The Dolly, a 9-year-old ship, left the port of Baltimore hours later and experienced 2 more power failures seen in this video. The main engine shutting down, the crew losing propulsion control of the ship. And just moments before impact, emergency calls went out. The crew tried to drop anchor, but it was too late. The ship hit the pier, toppled the bridge, and killed 6 construction workers and injured 2 others. Now the NTSB is seeking to determine if those in-port blackouts are connected to the power issues the ship experienced just before it hit the bridge.
And David, this report also rules out the possibility that contaminated fuel caused the loss of power on that ship. That was one theory. And those crew members, they're still on board. Officials say they're going to move the ship back into the port of Baltimore tomorrow and clear the rest of the wreckage from the channel by the end of the month. David?
Nearly 50 days later, still on board. Terry, thank you again tonight. We're also tracking severe storms on the move as we're on the air here, moving into the northeast, in fact. Let's get right to Chief Meteorologist Ginger Z tracking the storms in the hours ahead. Hi, Ginger.
Hi, David. Severe thunderstorms tracking right across the state line of Alabama and Tennessee. Huntsville's getting hit now. Chattanooga, you'll be up next. That goes till 8 p.m., that severe thunderstorm watch. I think it'll extend into the night, so keep an eye if you're anywhere east of there. Tomorrow morning, Tampa, Orlando, also Daytona Beach. Watch for storms all the way through the early afternoon. It's the heavy showers that start to wrap up around the mid-Atlantic and the Northeast here, where we've just been inundated, will be also quite blustery as this passes. And then Wednesday, Thursday, we bring back the severe threat for the plains. Also, Dallas, one of the wettest years on record to date. They'll be getting a whole lot of rain late this week. David.
We'll see you first thing in the morning on GMA, Ginger. Thank you. Tonight, President Biden taking aim at China. We have the new details here. $18 billion in new tariffs on Chinese imports, among them quadrupling tariffs on electric vehicles from Chinese automakers. The president saying he wants the electric vehicles of the world made in America to protect American jobs. Here's Mary Bruce.
Tonight, President Biden making a play for key swing state voters dependent on the auto industry, quadrupling tariffs on electric vehicles and targeting other imports from China, $18 billion in total, in an effort to protect American jobs.
Folks, look, I'm determined that the future of electric vehicles will be made in America by union workers, period.
Biden nodding to workers in Pennsylvania and Wisconsin, where polls show the race is tight, and Michigan, a crucial battleground where recent polling has Donald Trump up by 7 points.
My predecessor promised to increase American exports and boost manufacturing, but he did neither. He failed.
Biden once promised to repeal some of Trump's tariffs. Now he's building upon them. The president making the case he's the one who's really tough on China. Trump outside his courtroom on the attack.
They've also got to do it on other vehicles, and they have to do it on a lot of other products, because China's eating our lunch right now.
Biden putting the blame right back on Trump.
We've been feeding it a long time.
And David, the president is certainly well aware that China is the leader in the production of electric vehicles, and he wants to stop them from flooding the market and create jobs by having them made here in America instead. And he is hoping that will give him a boost in these critical states.
China hard at work on electric vehicles amid all this debate here in the U.S. All right, Mary, thank you. We move on tonight, and we have a developing headline on Israel at this hour. President Biden now set to move forward with $1 billion in new arms for Israel. And this evening, there is growing concern for about 20 U.S. aid workers. They say they have no safe way out of Gaza. You'll hear from them right here tonight. Matt Gutman is back in Tel Aviv.
As Israel launched its most intense air attacks across Gaza in weeks, the harrowing story from two of the nearly 20 American aid workers trapped inside Gaza, unable to get out, saying they don't feel safe to leave.
What does it feel like to be marooned in what is essentially a battle zone?
Work, work, work. That's what works for me. I try not to think of anything else.
Tonight, our team in Gaza following Dr. Adam Hamawi from New Jersey and Nurse Monica Johnston from Portland, Oregon. The group was scheduled to leave Rafah on Monday.
There's no bed sheets, there's no hand sanitizers, there's no soap. We have almost 100% infection rate because of the conditions we're in.
Tonight, Israel telling ABC News any accredited aid worker can leave or enter Gaza, but the U.S. and aid workers fear there is no guarantee or safe passage. Aid continues to be a flashpoint. Our Marcus Moore in Israel, where protesters continue to swarm Gaza-bound aid trucks.
These people believe that the aid, this critical aid for those who are starving, is falling into the wrong hands. They say the hands of Hamas.
And with casualties mounting, the U.S. says nearly 500,000 Palestinians have fled Rafah, only increasing the need for those crucial supplies.
David, last week the Biden administration suspended a shipment of bombs to Israel that it feared might be used in an incursion into Rafah. But just moments ago, we learned that the White House has alerted Congress it's moving forward with a new weapons deal for Israel worth over $1.2 billion. David.
Matt Gutman on that developing headline from Israel tonight. Matt, thank you. Now to the war in Ukraine tonight, where Secretary of State Antony Blinken made a surprise visit to Kyiv, reiterating that more U.S. military aid is on the way tonight. ABC's James Longman from inside Ukraine.
Tonight, as Russia presses its offensive in the northeast, Secretary of State Blinken in Kyiv as American military aid is rushed to Ukraine.
The assistance is now on the way. Some of it's already arrived. More of it will be arriving, and that's going to make a real difference.
But America's most senior diplomat was also here with a message for U.S. voters in a year where Ukraine's spending will be a critical issue.
The American people want to know that we have a plan so that
America's support can transition to more sustainable levels.
The latest $60 billion US aid package was passed after months of congressional delay. Ukrainian forces have run low on critical weapons and ammunition, the Kremlin now trying to take advantage of that shortage. And in Russia's sights, Kharkiv, Ukraine's second largest city, home to more than 1 million people, bombarded multiple times today, injuring at least 17.
And Secretary Blinken laid out a plan for how Ukraine could be less reliant on US aid. It includes a path to NATO membership and a way to build up their military so they can stand alone. David?
James Longman with us from Kyiv again tonight. Thank you, James. There's also chilling video coming in from overseas tonight showing a deadly and brazen police ambush in northern France. Here are the pictures. Authorities say 2 prison officers were killed in this, several wounded, when heavily armed gunmen blocked their convoy at a toll booth. Graphic images tonight showing the gunmen firing into the police vans, freeing a kidnapping and homicide suspect who was convicted of burglary last week. There is a massive manhunt now underway in northern France. When we come back here tonight, the major turn in the case of the 15-year-old killed, hit while in the water, the boat who authorities say kept going. Also news tonight about Red Lobster suddenly closing dozens of restaurants across the U.S. and the reason tonight why they're saying too much of a good thing might be to blame here. And then take a look at this, the cougar scare, chasing the family pets, and then eventually the family too. More on that in a moment. Tonight, authorities say they have now found the boat involved in that hit-and-run death of a 15-year-old girl in Key Biscayne, Florida. Ella Adler was killed while wakeboarding with friends. She was in the water when authorities say she was struck by the boat. The boat did not stop. Police say the boat's owner is cooperating tonight with this investigation. Tonight, the cougar scare for a family in Monroe, Washington, outside Seattle. The cougar was first seen on home surveillance chasing the family's cats across the backyard there, coming inches away from their young daughter. That daughter, mother, and new puppy then running inside for themselves. The father then chasing away the cougar, making sure all the other pets were okay as well. When we come back here tonight, Red Lobster suddenly closing dozens of restaurants across this country, and a hint tonight at the reason why in a moment. To the index of other news tonight, and Red Lobster is now closing dozens of restaurants across the U.S. At least 87 restaurants temporarily closed in 27 states, many not expected to reopen. Red Lobster reporting millions in losses. One reason analysts point to, they had expanded that popular endless shrimp deal. The promotion proved very costly. The WNBA's new season gets underway tonight. #1 draft pick Caitlin Clark making her regular season debut with the Indiana Fever, taking on the Connecticut Sun, playing before a sold-out crowd. Tonight's games air on ESPN, ESPN Plus, and Disney Plus. And news on Jason Kelce here tonight. The retired Philadelphia Eagles star retired no more. Kelce signing a multi-year deal to appear on ESPN's Monday Night Countdown, leading into Monday Night Football, of course. Jason Kelce saying he's ready for some football. Welcome to the Disney team. When we come back here tonight, the season of graduations, but we've never seen one quite like this. We think you'll be very impressed.
ABC World News Tonight with David Muir, sponsored by American Home Shield. Be at one with your home systems and appliances. Don't worry, be warranty.
Finally tonight, the graduation that was a party of 5. Tonight in Montclair, New Jersey, 5 siblings all making history, graduating together from college. The Povolo family, they are quintuplets, 3 brothers, 2 sisters, all attending Montclair State University. 5 different degrees. Tonight they have just graduated. The first time in their college's history, quintuplets have graduated together. From left to right, Ludovico, Victoria, Michael, Ashley, and Marcus. Born on the 4th of July, 2002, quite the fireworks, growing up always encouraging each other. The first in their family to go to college, and they went together. And on graduation day, their proud parents, Paul and Sylvia, right there.
Ludovico, Ashley.
All 5 siblings in cap and gown walking across that stage.
Michael, Marcus.
And right here tonight.
Hey, David, we're the Povolos.
The Povolo family, the ones who are not at work.
My name is Ludovico. I'm a political science major.
I'm Michael. I'm a nutrition and food science major.
I'm Victoria, and my major is biochemistry.
I'm Ashley. I'm an English major.
Their brother Marcus at work, but he got a business degree, and tonight they are all proud of each other.
It feels great, you know what I mean? Graduating with my siblings. We put so much work into this.
We held each other accountable, and we just try to get the most achievements as possible together, and we just strive for greatness.
There was a little bit of healthy competition going on, but really it's all about supporting each other, talking, being open. We just made it here all together, which is really awesome.
Just a little competition. Congrats, 5 times over. Good night.
Thank you for making World News Tonight with David Muir, America's most watched newscast.